guys, it's Laura. Welcome back to my channel. Aoen is back with Instant Crush. I'm so excited to see them back again. I'm curious to see what this is going to be about. Let's go ahead and get started. Ooh. Is that snow? Ooh. Ooh. Their harmony? Love those hits. Ooh, nice. Ooh. Almost like modulation. Ooh, I like that. The ticking. Ooh. The pre-chorus is so nice. I love the piano in it. Ooh, those vocals. Nice. Ooh, nice. Ooh, okay. Okay, first and foremost, I feel like we have to talk about how good this song was. Really, it was really incredible. I wrote down so many notes because I was just like, I don't want to miss anything. But I have to say, this was about 3 minutes and like 40 seconds of music, and then they had a little outro there. How often does that happen anymore? It doesn't happen very often. And so, but it felt like the song was over in a flash. And it was because there was so much happening, so much going on in the instrumental, so much, with the music and the harmony and everything. And I was just like blown away. I think, you know, every time that I've reacted to aoen, like I have enjoyed it every single time. And so I love when you guys like are like telling me information about them and recommending things for me, because they are a really, really incredible group. And I just love getting to know them more and more. At the very beginning, the bass line was so freaking fun. Like, just the way that it continued throughout the entire song. And I think that was probably one of my favorite parts. And they harmonized, I would say like 60 to 75% of the time, they were harmonizing in the vocals and the backing track. With that, just really like stuck out to me that they were doing so much harmonization through that, especially in that first verse. The pre-chorus throughout the entire song, loved the keyboard. It was so important having that piano aspect there. It really made the pre-chorus stand out between the verse and the chorus. So I love that. The chorus, that first chorus, I was like, are we getting a modulation here? Like, what is going on? And then in verse 2, I love those like big hits in the bass. I don't even know how to call them. Usually I call them like wubba wubbas, but it wasn't a wubba wubba sound, but it kind of sounded like that. And it was like this really low bass electronic sound. So nice. Definitely set apart from what happened in the first verse to the second verse. The lyrics here were so smart. So especially, you know, I wrote down a couple on the chorus. There's no time to blink because I'm getting lost in your eyes. You definitely could like feel the instant crush come through in the lyrics, like of how they happen. Can we stop the clock for a moment and ride this blue wave? For those of you who've been following aoen for any like level of time, you know, blue is like their color, and they always mention something or have something within it that is blue. So I was like I was waiting. I was like, when is it going to happen? And it happened to be in that line in the chorus. So I was like, oh, I have to talk about that. I also wrote down our paths cross and 0 seconds to be your instant crush. That was also in the chorus. Again, really, really entertaining, like how they like came up with all of the lyrics for this. Also, the singing was quite fast. I wasn't expecting it to be so like fast. So that, I think that's also what contributed to the song feeling shorter than it actually was, because the lyrics were so incredibly fast. They went by really quickly. So it's almost like I wasn't expecting it to be over because they happened so fast, even though it was long. So that was kind of a interesting juxtaposition between like actual time length versus the singing. I'm curious if any of you guys felt like that. And then in the bridge, I loved how it said, I guess you can say I'm down bad. I just loved how they were totally taking on this instant crush. Really nice. There were also like parts in between where they used moments of silence. We talk a lot about how silence is really important in music because it does a lot of things, like either create tension or it takes away tension or things like that. So I thought that was really smart before going into that final chorus. And then I loved in that final chorus, it had some like really like big emphasizing hits before going into that final instrumental part. Overall, really fun song. I enjoyed it so much. Again, I love the little, you know, them always talking about something blue, because it always gives me something like, now that I know that, I'm like listening for it, I'm looking out for it. So I enjoyed that aspect. So tell me what you guys thought of this song. Did you love it or hate it? And what was your favorite part of this music video or MV? And I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.